Hello and welcome to our Partner and Prosper with God talk show, where that is me, in partnership with God Holy Spirit, will be educating, empowering you, and equipping you to partner and prosper with God personally, financially, and spiritually. All three without having to sacrifice one for the other. I realize. Okay, good. All right. So today we are addressing the issue of your challenge with adopting the habit you know will lead to acceleration in your life and or business. But but when you're attempting to create these new habits, you find that you fail over and over and over again, and it leaves you feeling frustrated and like a failure. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you how to stop failing over and over and over again, how to stop feeling frustrated and feeling like a failure, and how to successfully start adopting these new habits that will lead to acceleration in your life and our business by looking at the difference between faithful and willful, which one works and doesn't, why, and how you can implement it starting today. All right, sounds like a good plan. Good morning. Hello, June. Thank you so much. You too. Awesome. So, but before I get started, I want to introduce myself, of course, to anyone who's going to be watching me for the first time. My name is Kileha Holder. I am the CEO of Faith in Life. I'm your spirit led coach and business strategist. And I help Christian entrepreneurs launch, build, and sustain their businesses in partnership with God and to set it up to be profitable personally, financially, and spiritually, all three without you sacrificing one for the other. So before we dive into today's video, I want to invite you to sign up for our free live mindset and heart posture coaching. Let me put that up here on the screen for you. The link is also in the description of this video to make it easy for you to click. All right. And this is where you receive free coaching live via Zoom with me. And we will go through some things that are going to help you shift your mindset and your heart posture. All right. Okay. And before we get started again, I just want to ensure that you're wherever you're tuning in from, whether Facebook or YouTube, be sure to subscribe and hit that follow button so you can and click the notification button so that you stay updated when I post more free content like this. All right. Good stuff. So let's get into today's conversation. Let's talk about the difference between faithful and willful and how that is impacting you and your ability to achieve your goals. All right. Hey, welcome, Mr. Holder. Yes, yes. Glad you're here. Thank you for tuning in. Awesome. All right. So let's start by looking at what these two words mean. So willful means obstinately and often perversely self-willed. Ooh, that sounds like a mouthful, doesn't it? Sounds hot. While faithful, on the other hand, means firm in adherence to promises and are in observance of duty. That's you being conscientious, right? And hey, listen to this one. The Greeks put it this way: the word pistos, which means trusty, faithful, is of persons who show themselves faithful in the transaction of business, the execution of commands, or the discharge of official duties. Whew. So, on one hand, you got someone who's obstinately self-willed, and on the other hand, we have one that is faithful, that they execute their promises, they adhere to the businesses, the transactions of their business, and they do what they're called to do, right? Their duties, right? So let's look at this and what this means. So we often seek to overcome our bad habits and create a new habit by being willful, right? And using our will power to achieve the outcome that we desire. But how successful are you when you do so? right? You will make a few attempts in which you will fail at delivering the consistent results, and it leads you to feeling frustrated with yourself because you're not measuring up to a standard that you set. And it leaves you also feeling defeated because you didn't create the new habit that you wanted. I've heard this over and over and over again from other people, from clients that I've worked with, from other people that I've networked and connected with, right? It's a repeating cycle, right? And it's all because you are trying to be willful, and willful just isn't cutting it. It just isn't cutting it, right? But instead, you need to extend grace to yourself, right? Instead, what you should be doing is extending grace to yourself, I should say, hitting that reset button and start it again, right? But most people end up beating themselves up, calling themselves every bad name that they can think of, and giving up altogether, right? And even though being willful isn't cutting it, it, however, is valid, because being willful isn't going to cut. Being willful isn't uh, leads to you not adopting your habits, your new habits, right? It isn't going to cut it for you to help you think. But there's good news. There's good news. Being faithful will. Okay? Being faithful will. And how so, you ask? Because you being willful is reliant on you having enough willpower to overcome your unproductive habits and replacing them with productive habits. Let me say that again. You being willful is reliant on you having enough willpower to overcome your unproductive habits and instead to replace them with productive habits. And if we all have the willpower to create these brilliant, beautiful, new, successful habits in our lives, we will all be healthy, wealthy, and wise. But we aren't. We aren't. Why? Instead, what you need to be focused on is being faithful, right? Because being faithful is about being steadfast. Is about being firm in your adherence to the process, not focusing on the outcome, right? When you're in your willful state, you're focusing on the outcome. You want this, right? And so you're when it doesn't lead to that. And what happens is you're attaching emotions to that, right? And that leads to downfall. So the process, here's the key. The process, even though it may look messy, even though it may be difficult, and even though it may seem impossible, but it's not, it involves knowing and doing what you need to do consistently over time. And ultimately, it will lead to a change in your life and business, right? The key is being consistent in and being not just being consistent, but building up to it, right? Building up to that level of consistency and not expecting that you're going to be perfect right away, right? In fact, you should expect that your mind and your body are going to go to battle, right? The moment you decide to do something new, they're going to have a tug of war, right? And even the word tells us this in Romans 8:5-6. It says this: for those who are living according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh which gratify the body. But those who are living according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit, His will and purpose. Now, the mind of the flesh is death, both now and forever, because it pursues sin, right? But the mind of the Spirit is life and peace, right? The spiritual well being that comes from walking with God, both now and forever. So, guess what? Allow the spirit in you, because you're a three-dimensional being. If you didn't know that, heads up, right? You have a mind, you have a body, and you have the Holy Spirit, right? As long as you're saved by the Lord, you have the Holy Spirit in you. So you're three-dimensional. So that the spirit, the thing you go to war for you, right? Remember that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, right? And He left you His Holy Spirit, right? Because it's the Holy Spirit's job to help us in our weaknesses. It is his job. That's his, when he got hired for the job, that was right there on the description of his responsibilities, right? So, in order for you to stop feeling over and over and over again, stop being emotionally attached to the outcome, you want to start focusing on being faithful in the process, being faithful, right? You want to stop feeling frustrated, then or feeling like a failure, then you want to start recognizing and accepting that the spirit within you is your true power of source, right? It's your true source of power, not your willpower, right? To start successfully adopting new habits, take it one day at a time, right? Every day is another day for you to make a 1% degree change. That may seem small, right? But it adds up over time. When we try to jump from 0 all the way to 100, right? That is the quickest way for you to derail yourself and to head down the failure street. But, but 100 days of 1% degree changes will lead to victory, right? You multiply that by 100, you got 100%. Yes, yes. So whatever you do, no matter what it is, in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord and in dependence on Him, giving thanks to the Father through Him, through Jesus Christ. And you are well on your way to experiencing acceleration in your life and or your business. All right. So don't try to overcome and these habits by trying to will yourself to make it happen, to try to utilize willpower. We are not strong enough. We in ourselves on our own are not strong enough. But we in the spirit, mm, and I'm like even people who are not believers, I recognize the spiritual element and the spiritual strength that allows us to do the things that we can't do in our natural selves or that we are challenged to do in our natural self. Your spiritual part of you is the key to you being able to overcome your unproductive habits. I don't call them bad, they're unproductive because they're not producing good fruit in your life, and adopting productive habits in your life that will lead to the success in your life in different areas, whether in your personal life, in your financial life, or your spiritual life, right? So I pray that that was a blessing to someone. I pray you needed to hear that message today. And if you have any key takeaways, be sure to drop them in the comments below. If you have questions as well, be sure to add those as well, or any feedback that you have. I come back and I definitely look into reply back, I should say, to the comment. So be sure to put your comments below and be a good friend and share this broadcast with those in your sphere of influence who needs to hear this message as well. So I want to thank you so much for being here with me. It's so great to see familiar faces and familiar, I should say familiar names because I can't see your face. But I also love to see and meet new people as well. So thank you for tuning in. And by the grace of God, I will see you again next week, Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Till then, take care and have yourself a super blessed day. Bye.